today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you all about free writing fonts. What's great about these is you can grab them off of lots of different websites and they will end up looking like a writing font if you size them correctly and find the right fonts. I'm going to give you some tips on finding your own fonts a little later on in the video, but you can also find a bunch of free writing fonts that I have vetted for you at Blackstone.com, and I will link it down below directly for you. Now, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, but let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to show you some free writing fonts, and I'm going to write these with 3 different sizes of pens so you can see the difference, but we're going to do it in the exact same size for all of them. I've just arranged them in a space that will fit onto our Cricut. But here's the thing that's a little bit different with what I call a free writing font versus a Cricut branded writing font that's made specifically for writing. These are not single lines. These fonts, if you look closely, you can see they do have double lines, and I can zoom in a little bit more to show you what I mean. Do you see how this right here is like a bubble letter? It will not look like that when you draw it if you draw it not super large or you use a thicker pen. Now, there's definitely a lot of ways around these types of things and great ways to use this to keep your writing still looking nice and cool without having to be stuck with just using Cricut writing fonts. Now, like I said, a Cricut writing font is a single line, and that is where the Cricut follows the line. These are not single lines, but they will look really good once written out. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to write these with 3 different pens and show you what they all look like. I have a huge list on my website that you can find these linked directly. I've got a ton of free writing fonts linked on my website. Over on my website, Blackstone.com, you'll see that you can scroll here and look at all the free writing fonts that I have linked directly for you. I have even more down here for you as well. There are so many fonts that write really nicely. And then I also have a little video down here that teaches you how to install your fonts so that you can use them. All you simply need to do is to click on one of the fonts that you want to download, and it will take you to that download page, and you can easily download and install your font. We're going to be using 3 different Cricut pens for this. So I have the 0.4 tip, the 1, and the calligraphy 2. That way you can see the difference. I want to use all Cricut pens for this just so it gives you kind of a better understanding, I guess. But what I'm doing is I'm going to use some 12 by 12 white paper, and I'm going to have it right onto our paper. And I'm going to start with our smallest, which is our 0.4. To load our pen, you just open clamp A and then put your finger under the clamp, put your pen in until it clicks, and then close that clamp. You can go ahead and load your paper in, and we're going to let it write. Now, I will, when I'm done writing, I will label each sheet so that we know which pen was used. I want to share with you a few tips about finding your own writing fonts if you want to go out and explore on your own. Tip number 1 is to make sure whatever website you're getting your fonts from is safe. Now, I have a list of free websites that you can get like fonts and SVGs and all sorts of things on. I've tested those. I know that those are safe sites, and I'll link it down below in the video's description for you in case you want to explore those. But just make sure the site you're using is super safe. The next tip is to look for thin line fonts. So when I say thin line fonts, what I mean is a font that even when you see it in the picture, the preview, it looks really skinny, because the skinnier the font, the easier it's going to be to make it appear like a writing font. You don't want to use any of those really big, thick letters. But I also have one more great tip is you can really write with any of your fonts. And I'm going to link below the video that shows you how to fill in any font that you want using your Cricut. It does take a little bit longer to write them out, but it really looks great. It's a wonderful option that works if you want to use a bigger, thicker font. Now, if you have any questions, again, always let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you, and you can find all the links in the video's description. I have each page here. So this first one is the 0.04, and you can see that some of the fonts look really good, and some of them you can see a little bit of that like double lining. If you make these a little smaller, you won't see that, but you can see that a lot of them look really nice. I think they look pretty good for most part at the 0.4. Like this California is really obvious. Again, I think if you made this one really small, it would work perfectly. So then over in the 1.0 size, you can see a lot of difference. The California looks a little bit better. Beanstalk looks great, but then we're gonna have some that just don't look as good because they're almost too thick. But if you made them larger, you're gonna need to play around with your sizing when you do a writing font, especially like a free one that isn't technically a single line. Like this chocolate candy cups looks really cute. It's a little chunky and I like it. But then we went over to the 2.0 and oh boy. So California actually would look better if the pen wasn't the calligraphy version, but since it's got like a smaller side. But Beanstalk looks pretty good. Mr. Oliver looks pretty cute, but most of them I think are just a little bit too thin to use with that larger pen. But again, if you make the size larger, you'll have a little more give and go. So definitely when working with like a free writing font, you need to play around with your sizing, figure out what size you need them to be, and then from there you can kind of play with your pen, figure out which one works best. Because like look at Tidal Wave in the 1.0 and then look at it in the 0.4. It looks really good in either one. So if you want it a little thinner or a little thicker, you can do that. And it actually doesn't look too bad other than like some kind of smudging in the 2.0 either. So Tidal Wave's a great one that works for all sorts of sizes. But like I said, just play around with it, see what works best for you. This is always a fun thing to do with your Cricut. Give it a shot, try it out, let me know what you think in the comments. Again, you can find all the links to the free writing fonts on my website, CorinneBlackstone.com. I'll link it directly down below in the video's description. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe here, that way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.